Welcome to Platform Media International Sports. Today, we are doing the World Cup presentation, and I have in the studio my very good friend, Opone Iyamabo, that all of you around the world have been asking where he is. Opone, welcome. And I'm happy that fans will know that you are here, and more especially, we are doing the World Cup roundup so that you are in the best position to give your experience, giving your experience to give all analysis as from the goalkeeping session to the attack. Opponent, welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
World Cup presentation. The World Cup is here with us, opponent, and we're 2 days from the start. Ecuador versus the host Qatar. Ecuador defeated Qatar 2-0. African teams, Senegal lost 2-0 to Netherlands, and as I'm speaking to you, France is ahead 3-1 against Australia. And the shock of them all is that Saudi Arabia defeated Argentina 2-1. Opponent, let's start from home. You played soccer. You were one of the goalkeepers for Sharks in the 90s under the legendary Sinclair. Is that right? His name is Sinclair.
Yeah,
yes. You were one of the goalkeepers for Sharks. Opponent. So when we talk like this, people should understand where you're coming from. So let's start from home. Like I said, what are the stakes? What is at stake for the African teams in this World Cup?
What we say is at stake. African teams need to go there and perform. We've been going there from African teams have been making it from the 1990s when Cameroon did in the 1990s. So African teams have been doing well, but we are not. I don't think we are improving the way we should. That's the way I see it. I don't think how we started mostly from the 90s when African teams started exploding. We have not taken it to a different level, and that needs to be done. We have the players now.
So we have the players, we have the technology. Why is African team and the players, more African players are going abroad? So why are we not taking it further? Like you said, we're not taking it to the next level. You know, we have the likes of Mane, we have the like of Victor Osimhen, we have the like of Mo Salah. Why are we not on the center stage in the World Cup?
But there's something else too you need to understand. These players come out from Africa, they move to Europe, Asia, or South America. There will be adjustment there. I know some people will not understand. There will be adjustment. Mm-hmm. When they come back, it's a different mentality. Look at the European player. Why? Why do I say different mentality? Because of the way the league is in different parts of Africa. In Europe, if a player moves from Holland to England, if he goes back, it's the same philosophy. Because they all do the same thing. Just the level in one country might be higher than the other, but the same philosophy. But Africa is different. Those things are not there in Africa. So when they leave, they come back, it's like the switching. Low, high, mid. I think that's the problem.
When you say they come back, we're not playing African Nations Cup, we're playing the World Cup. All right.
I understand
Mendy of Senegal, the goalkeeper, plays in the Premiership. Koulibaly plays in the Premiership. The back four from Senegal, they all play in Europe. So what is this that the adjustments that you're talking about? Why are African teams timid? Why are they suffering from inferiority complex when they show up on the world stage? That's my problem. It's a problem.
That's what I said, and you just make my point. Now I say when they come back, I don't mean when they come back to play in African League, but when they come back. You watch Chelsea players when they play in Chelsea. Do you see the intensity they play with when they play in Chelsea? Do they play that same intensity when they go back to their country? No. Now they're all like kind of relaxed. Watch the European players. Watch the South American players. They play the same way because it's the same philosophy. They only go to a higher league when intensity is higher, where competition is higher. When they go back, they play it with the same intensity. That is the difference between African players and players from like South America and in Europe. That is the biggest problem we're facing.
So is it the problem of the coach, or maybe they don't have a psychology or a motivational speaker in their team to bring out the beast in them?
You see, when they say a motivational speaker or a psychologist, I don't buy into these things. People work
Why
in
not?
office. People work in offices. They don't need a psychologist, a motivational speaker to tell them how to do their job. You've been assigned to a job. They go there and do their job. You don't need a psychological or motivational speaker. When I play football, there was no psychology or motivational speaker that will come and talk to me to do anything. I know it's a different era. It's a different time. Yes, I agree. But like I say, people have jobs in different areas. They don't need all those things to do their job. Football is like any other job. When you're asked to do a job, when you be assigned to do something, you just have to go do it. You are being paid for it.
So perhaps there's no fear factor in terms of respecting their coaches. So because you go to Chelsea, for instance, to Thomas Tuchel or wherever his name is, the coach, or Arsenal.
The former coach.
If you go to Arsenal, Arteta, if you go to the, Manchester United, Ten Hag, if you make a stupid mistake, you won't play the next match. So in Africa, they are making what you call elementary errors, and yet they are still playing. So perhaps there's some fear factor that they are going to lose their position because the coaches are not feared.
Okay. Now you say when they make mistake, they are still playing. Do you have the quality to replace that person that made that mistake? You're not going to that side, right? Are you ignoring that aspect of it? Do you have a better replacement or an evil replacement for the person that's not playing well?
Okay, I got that now. Why? Okay, in Sharks, for instance, when you played, you have 22 or 25 players registered by the team. So those players, the gap between the first 11, in those days, I think I covered sports in Nigeria too. I covered stationary stores, I covered better insurance. The gap between first 11 and second 11, it's not as wide as a Cayon. In Nigeria, the gap between first 11 and second 11 is terrible. If Osimhen gets injured, there's no capable number 9. If Trossachon gets injured, there's no better replacement. So who do we blame for that? We have a contract of 150 million. So look at Koulibaly, look at Mendy. So you think in Senegal, they don't have capable goalkeeper that can step up if Mendy makes some elementary errors, or Koulibaly. So why is that? Is it the culture or coaching?
Do you know there's a saying that there's a difference between a good sound reason and a reason that sounds good? Saying if Koulibaly is injured, you don't have a better replacement, that is not the problem. I will tell you something about coaching. Between a coach and a player, or between coaches and players, there is something called trust. When the Tottenham coach now, what's his name? Tottenham coach now. The coach from Tottenham guy.
Antonio Conte.
Conte. When Conte went to Chelsea, he trusted Victor Moses. Moses played almost every game. The minute he left, Moses was out of the team. That's what is called trust. That's what's called trust between coaches and players. When a coach trusts the player that he can do the job for him, that player plays. Now, talking about quality, there are, for example, for instance, let's say fullbacks. There are fullbacks, some fullbacks, all they do is to defend. There are some fullbacks, they will defend, they will go forward and come back.
Flying wing backs.
Yeah, for instance, we look at Manchester City, Kyle Walker. He only defends, doesn't attack, but he can defend. Look at Liverpool fullback. He can go and come. Although he's not a better defender, but he can attack properly. So it depends on how the coach wants to play. Like I say, these players you call in, these African players from Senegal that plays for Chelsea or whatever, look at the intensity they play with when they play in the Premier League. But when they come to Africa, they're kind of a bit relaxed. And that is where...
When they come to Africa, you mean the players or the coaches?
The players. You can take a horse to the stream, you can't force him to drink. When the players come to Africa, they kind of a little bit relaxed.
Okay.
They play the same league.
Okay, let me give you an example. In Cote d'Ivoire in 1993, Siasia was irregular. He was selfish, missed to lay a pass for Rashidi to score. We lost that match by 1-2 to Cote d'Ivoire. Siasia, after the coach Westerhoff benched Siasia, and that was the rise of Amokachi. Well, so we have instances like that. So perhaps you are telling me that African teams don't have the coaches anymore. We just bring some some what do you call it, handy men from Europe to come and become coaches. So yeah, you are telling me now, Pep Guardiola, when he came to Manchester City, this guy's game, what's his name?
Yeah,
The
Toure?
English, huh?
Who?
The English boy who scored yesterday. What's his name?
When Pep came to Man City?
Man City. He sees players down one by one to say, this is what I want you to do for me. And if consistently you are still making mistakes, what is it? It sends you to exile.
Yeah.
West Ham did it, and that's why we had the fearful 1994 team, because there's fear factor. You play how he wants you to play. If you don't play, you are benched. Why are these handymen that are brought to Africa now, or all the coaches we have now, why are they not doing that?
Okay, now I'll put it this way. We always use Chelsea now because Senegal lost and Chelsea have a lot of like Senegalese players who play top league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now they are seeing those players. These players are good players. It's become very difficult for these players to drop these players and bring in someone where they think, oh, he plays the top team, he plays the strongest, best league. Oh, it's difficult to replace him. That's one problem most of these coaches are having to with these players. Another aspect of it is what competition are the other players putting in practice for these coaches to have the guts to want to change those that are playing. It's possible because sometimes for those changes to take place, they have to take like a big defeat for them to start making changes. Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. You watch how many changes we made in that team now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Opponent, we have evidence to experience to say this. In 1989, when West Ham came, Eboigbo and Keshi were the central defenders. The qualifying qualifier match in Yaoundé against the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Eboigbo was the center defense with Okeshi, but Eboigbo messed up in that match. That was the last match he played for Super Eagles. Thereafter, West Ham decided to find Uche Okechukwu and Uche Okechukwu or Uche Okafor. And during the 1994 World Cup, he eventually invited Chidinwanu. So so we have evidence of that. So any coach who wants to succeed must have to fashion out a team. You know, I think our coaches, the coach they bring to Africa, or even the local coaches, are lazy.
I think
they want a quick fix.
You are saying things are now pricking me and are now like atoms to my skin now. You're making me to go back now and start digging up and bringing out stuff. You're telling me about Sunday Boigbe, you're telling me about Uche Okafor, Uche Okechukwu. But what you did not say, how long did they play in Nigerian League? How solid were those players before they left the shores of Nigeria? Before he left the shores of Nigeria, he must be a top player. How good were those players? Now, let me tell you why. People, now let me go back and bring somebody I played with, Finidi George. Everybody shouted, Finidi George is a good winger. Finidi is not a winger. Finidi is one of the best passers of the ball Nigeria has ever produced. Finidi is a precise passer of the ball. Why didn't Finidi play in Nigerian midfield? It's because of the marking aspect, tracking people down. He's not very good at that. But he was a very good passer of the ball. And practice, Westerhoff discovered that guy was speedy. What happened? He moved into the right side.
Okay.
When
that's Finidi, a bold decision. That's a bold decision.
Yes, but because the quality was there, the players were there. When Finidi was playing from the right side, Finidi doesn't cross the ball. You check Finidi anywhere he plays, he passes the ball from the wing. He played in Ajax, he passes the ball. It can be a cross, but it's a pass to people like Gary Littman, Patrick Kluivert to score. He doesn't cross the ball. He passes the ball. He was a precision ball passer. Because, why did I say that? We have the quality to adjust. We have the quality to start moving players.
That's why viewers want to see you. Thank you so much. But short of time, we're back tomorrow. We're going to talk about, we're still going to be talking about the down part of, or whatever, how African teams can rise up and show up big stage in the World Cup. Senegal, Ghana, Tunisia, Morocco, and all of them. So that we present a very formidable presence in the World Cup. Otherwise, African teams will not be respected anymore. Players will not have the opportunity to play in the big stage in Europe. It is in the World Cup that's the showcase for every player. For a player to have that kind of opportunity and playing with fear, there's something wrong. And that's what we'll begin to examine. It does, even as I present all the facts and figures to you viewers. Opone, I want to thank you for coming to the studio. We'll do it again tomorrow, right? Promise?
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. That's all we have for you viewers from the studios of Platform Media International. I'm Joe Ehizode. I'm a very good friend of Opone Yamobo, who has been exile for years, back in the studio. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.